The greatest albums are packed with hit after hit. In this video, we look at 8 great albums with many hits. Let's get started. The Fame by Lady Gaga is Lady Gaga's debut studio album, released on August 19, 2008. It became her first #1 album. The album scored 4 top 10 hits on the Billboard Hot 100. Just Dance spent 3 weeks on #1. Poker Face peaked on #1. Love Game peaked on #5. And Paparazzi peaked on #6. Just Dance and Poker Face ended 2009 as the second and third biggest songs of the year. It has since been certified 6 times platinum by the RIAA. The album established Lady Gaga as an icon. 1989 by Taylor Swift. It is Taylor's 5th studio album, released on October 27, 2014. The album debuted at the top of the Billboard 200 with first week sales of 1.2 million copies. It had 5 top 10 singles, with 3 of them hitting #1. Shake It Off stayed on #1 for 4 weeks. Blank Space peaked on #1 for 7 weeks. Style peaked on #6. Bad Blood peaked on #1. And Wildest Dreams peaked on #5. She released a re-recorded version of the album in 2023 and sold 1.6 million units just in the first week. Taylor Swift now has a total of 49 top 10 hits on the Billboard Hot 100. Loud by Rihanna. It is Rihanna's 5th studio album, released on November 12, 2010. Out of the 11-song track list, 7 were released as singles, with 3 chart toppers. Only Girl in the World peaked on #1. What's My Name with Drake peaked on #1. S&M peaked on #1. And Cheers, Drink to That peaked on #7. Rihanna showed versatility on Loud by exploring various genres, from dance pop to reggae-infused tracks like Man Down. The album showcased her ability to navigate through different musical landscapes. It has now been certified 3 times platinum in the US. When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go by Billie Eilish. It is Billie's debut studio album, released on March 29, 2019. Billie and her brother Phineas created a sonic landscape that defied conventions of pop and showcased their versatility and innovation. The album has nothing but hits. Bad Guy became her first #1 single in 2019 when it ended Old Town Road's record-breaking 19-week run at #1. 4 songs from the album hit the top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100. Other than the intro, all the songs have more than 200 million streams on Spotify. Because of the album, Billie swept all the major categories at the Grammys. I Am Sasha Fierce by Beyoncé. It is Beyoncé's 3rd studio album, released on November 12, 2008. The album spawned 4 top 10 hits. If I Were a Boy peaked on #3. Single Ladies, Put a Ring on It spent 4 weeks on #1. Halo peaked on #5. And Sweet Dreams peaked on #10 on the Billboard Hot 100. Even Ego and Diva were absolute bangers. It was a huge commercial success, with 482,000 copies sold in its first week. It has now been certified 6 times platinum by the RIAA. Because of the album, she won 6 awards at the 2010 Grammys. Rhythm Nation 1814 by Janet Jackson. This is the album that defined Janet's career. It is her 4th studio album, released on September 19, 1989. She broke the record at the time when every single from the album reached the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100. Miss You Much spent 4 weeks on #1. Rhythm Nation peaked on #2. Escapade spent 3 weeks on #1. Alright peaked on #4. Come Back to Me peaked on #2. Black Cat peaked on #1. And Love Will Never Do Without You peaked on #1. She may have extended her record to 8, as State of the World was a top 5 airplay hit in 1991. But the song was never released as a commercially available single. The album's theme on social consciousness didn't deter it from becoming one of the best-selling albums of all time, with 12 million records sold worldwide. The Duchess by Fergie. It is Fergie's debut studio album, released on September 13, 2006. The first 5 singles from the album reached the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100. London Bridge spent 3 weeks on #1. Fergalicious peaked on #2. Glamorous peaked on #1. Big Girls Don't Cry peaked on #1. And Clumsy peaked on #5. The album has been certified 5 times platinum by the RIAA. It was a groundbreaking moment in Fergie's solo career. The End by Black Eyed Peas. Fergie dominated the charts solo and came back to the Black Eyed Peas with a new energy. The End, which is an abbreviation of The Energy Never Died, is their 5th studio album, released on June 3, 2009. They dominated the year, spending half of 2009 at #1. The album registered 5 top 10 hits, Boom Boom Pow spent 12 weeks on number 1. And I Got a Feeling spent 14 weeks on number 1 back to back. Meet Me Halfway peaked on number 7. I'ma Be peaked on number 1 for 2 weeks. And Rock That Body peaked on number 9. The album has now sold more than 11 million units worldwide, and it was responsible for shaping the sounds of the early 2010s. What albums did I miss? Tell me in the comments below.